Hey everybody, Yankee here. As you know, recently we've been winning a lot of victories for the Second Amendment in the courts. And we just won another victory, or at least took the first step towards another victory recently. And I think it's going to be a very important victory in a way that a lot of the others weren't. And what I'm talking about is that a judge just recently, just the other day, said that the prohibition on marijuana users buying guns is unconstitutional. You know how it says there on the 4473, if you use marijuana or any other illegal drugs, you can't buy a gun. Well, that is not constitutional, thanks to the new Bruin decision. Because, the Supreme Court says, when you look at these laws, if you look at laws that are trying to remove people's fundamental rights, like their Second Amendment right, it has to be something that was true at the time they wrote the law, something they were doing then. It has to have historical precedent. Well, at the time, no one thought marijuana was bad at all. That's a created thing, mostly in the 60s, about marijuana being bad. And that was to demonize a different political ideal or party. So it's all bunk, and it doesn't have any historic precedent. Well, because of that, a judge today says, yeah, that's something you can't do. You can't say because someone uses marijuana, something that's readily available in a lot of states now, even in the state where this case was heard, that you can say these people don't have their fundamental rights when their state is allowing them to purchase this product. Even though it's illegal on the federal level, that it is unconstitutional for it to be something that would prevent you from exercising your rights, even if you were in violation of that law. So now it looks like that's going to have to come off the 4473 unless something changes, because that's a big victory. And it's something I think a lot of us have agreed with. You're not prohibited from buying a gun if you drink alcohol. You're not prohibited from buying a gun if you're on prescription medications. So you shouldn't be prohibited for smoking marijuana. Or, as far as I'm concerned, you should be able to legally do any drug you want. You're an adult. If you want to put nasty shit in your body, put nasty shit in your body. We don't make it illegal to eat Twinkies and cheeseburgers. And those cause more deaths every year than anything does. So I'm a firm believer adults get to make their own decisions. But now, even in the environment we live in, the society we live in, this judge has said you can still use marijuana and still have your rights. It's not like you're a felon, a criminal, a danger to society, whatever. But here's why I think this is so important. I know some gun owners out there don't even support marijuana use. Mostly it's for religious reasons or some other weird hypocritical bullshit because they'll drink a case of beer. But even if you don't support marijuana use, here's the thing. Here's why this is a big victory. Because this is a victory that the left and the right can both agree on. They can both agree that, no, you shouldn't be prohibited from buying a gun just because you smoke marijuana. Even if someone on the far left doesn't like guns and doesn't think anybody should be able to buy a gun, well, one of their big platforms is that marijuana is not bad. And that marijuana should not be illegal. It shouldn't be an excuse to fire someone. It shouldn't be any of these things. It should be totally acceptable, even more acceptable than alcohol. That's their position. And I kind of agree with them. But here's the thing. They can't now turn around and say, no, you can't buy a gun if you use marijuana because you're dangerous. Well, I thought your whole platform was that marijuana is not dangerous and marijuana users aren't dangerous at all. So they have to support this decision. They have to say, well, I don't like anybody buying guns, but you surely can't be prohibited simply because you smoke marijuana. Because if they say that, they're saying marijuana is bad. It makes you dangerous. It makes you unable to handle the responsibility of owning a gun. And I just can't see them saying that. So I think this is a decision that the right and the left are both going to agree on. So I think that's a positive. That could be some, common ground that you start to come together on. I would love to see people out there in society start coming together on things. Because here's the thing. Very few of us are far right. Very few of us are far left. And I know I did the wrong thumbs there. But most of us are in the middle, but so many people cling to far left and far right ideologies because they don't think them through. So whenever we have something like this where we can both agree on, maybe even if it's for different reasons, we can start saying, These extremes only exist to keep us polarized and divided when most of us are in the middle, and we could probably come to this, agreements on certain things. Like I could agree with people on the left. If you don't like guns and you don't want them to be part of our country, amend the Constitution. If they went through the actual process and amended the Constitution, well, then I would disagree with them, but they did things the right way. I mean, that's how our country works. That's how our Constitution works. Remember, Prohibition was part of the Constitution, and it got repealed. If they went through the trouble of doing that, well, there wouldn't be much I could say. But so I can tell them, hey, I can support your beliefs and your right to have those beliefs. I don't agree with you. But if you want to change the Constitution, go ahead and try. Now, do I think they'll ever be able to change the Constitution? Not in my lifetime, not in my kids' lifetime. Maybe eventually, but I think by then probably won't matter. We'll be all living in the woods and avoiding zombies and, eating whatever the space aliens will give us. Our new alien overlords, who I, for one, welcome our new alien overlords. Like I've always said, I will cooperate, just so the aliens know. But like I was saying, this is something we can both agree on. This is some common ground. I don't think anyone even on the far left could disagree with this because, like I said, one of their major platforms is marijuana is not dangerous. Marijuana users are not dangerous. It should not have any effect on any other aspect of their lives. So they can't turn around and say, well, if you use it, you can't buy a gun. Because that would be hypocritical to the max. Now, there are some people on the far left that will still do that because no one having guns is their number one platform. But, I'm not worried about the tiny minority, the loud minority. I want most people to come together. And I think this is one of those decisions that most people can come together on, that even if you don't agree with guns, marijuana should not be something that disqualifies you because the government shouldn't be arbitrarily able to make something illegal and then say, well, if you've been doing this or using this or whatever, well, then you lose your rights. Because that's not how the system should work. So like I said, I think this is a huge victory. I hope people come together on this. I hope people in the gun community, even if you don't agree with marijuana, understand how big a victory this is. Even if you don't think people should use marijuana, open your eyes and realize you'd be a hypocrite if you support the government being able to tell you what you can put in your body and that they can take your rights away because you choose to put something in your body as an adult. If you support that ban, well, then you're kind of a hypocrite. If you don't want the government running your life, but then you're like, well, it's okay if they run my life when it's something I agree with, as long as they're running other people's life and making them do something I agree with, that's hypocritical. So like I said, if the left wants to be against this ruling, they're definitely hypocrites. And us on the right, if we're against, marijuana use, we'd kind of be hypocrites too. But I don't think most of us will be. I think most people, like I said, will come together on this decision. I think it's a good decision, and I think it's a meaningful decision, like I said, that might give some of us some common ground to actually start talking to each other. Now, like I said, I'm not interested in talking to the loonies on either side. But most people aren't loonies, and it's time those of us that aren't loonies start taking control of the conversation, start being mature, responsible adults for it. The Second Amendment is the law of the land. If you don't like it, change the Constitution. Until then, accept it in its entirety. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it should be. And like I said, hopefully, most people understand that. Hey everyone, Yankee here. In my videos, we often cover some complicated subjects with a lot of gray area. So if you would like to further discuss anything said in my videos, please join us in one of my live chats. Live chats are held most days at 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for Monday and Wednesday when they are at 5 p.m. Pacific. There is a clickable link to the live chats in the upper right-hand corner of this video. If you disagree with anything I've said in a video, feel free to participate in Spank the Yank. You can come on the live discussion panel and let me know face-to-face how I was wrong. You may already know, at least I assume, because they have now, the courts, they have been overturning, I can't use that, God damn, can't buy a gun, the law that says that. Blah! Hey everybody, Yankee. Got a tickle in my throat. Time that the Second Amendment was written, a provision that was... I don't know what I'm saying. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Make sure I'm recording. Marijuana use. I can't say marijuana. As you know, recently we've been winning a lot of victories in the courts for... Wait, I gotta turn this off.